I don't think I've talked about my upbringing too much on this channel, but I was born and raised in the Bay Area, which is a very work-centric culture. I think it gets characterized that way a lot. I never consciously saw that as an unhealthy thing growing up, but what it does do is imbue the youth of Silicon Valley with the intense desire to go to like an elite four-year college and then get a very prestigious brand name job, which greatly impacts the mental health of literal 13-year-olds that are already stressed about their future and their potential and how successful they'll be instead of just exploring and having fun with friends. This is all personal to what I experienced. I know a lot of people that are wonderful, skeptical thinkers that never wanted to go into the corporate world and were always questioning it. And I wish I were more like that, but I very much was just climbing my little ladder sat out in front of me, spelling out what an impressive career would be. And I remember like maybe a year or two into the corporate world, I got really into the dichotomy of work to live versus live to work. And I started to take in my surroundings and start to pick out examples of, you know, people in my life that live to work versus work to live. You know, who's happy, who's not, who's fulfilled, who's not. And now it's kind of laughable that I even questioned which two of those options is right or wrong. I think I very quickly was like, well, whatever one suits you best is fine. But genuinely have a hard time accepting that living to work is benefiting you more than it is a company. You know, like you have to wonder what's at stake. I remember going to the Netherlands and it's like if you ask someone, you know, what they do, they'll answer, oh, well, I'm a cyclist, I'm a father, I'm a writer, and then maybe the second to last thing would be like, and I'm an accountant. But in no way is their labor and their job the formative part of their identity. Like they don't center that in who they are like we do in the US. And also, quite frankly, like your employer does not care about you holistically. They care about your labor. And I'm very plain about that fact. Like, I think it's helpful to view it in those terms instead of sugarcoating that your job is going to support your entire lifestyle. No, your job is just going to support you to the extent that you will work harder. It's all profit-centered, right? Like, they're not going to do something just because it'll make you happier on the weekends. They only care about making you a better worker. And I know that sounds cynical, but I actually just think that's the plain non-ornamental view of it. And my closing argument, if you will take it, is that the idea of a 40-year career was invented by corporations to provide consistent labor. They know that if you're concerned about your successful career and a sequence of well-flowing jobs that just get more and more impressive over time, you're gonna keep your in your seat. You're not going to ask questions. You're just going to do whatever they need to get higher and higher. You're going to go above and beyond your call of duty, above your job description. You're just going to keep chasing, when in reality, 40 years is a long time to pick something at 22 and then just stick with it. It actually concerns me to do one thing for 40 years. That does not interest me. That does not provide me with safety and comfort. A lot of people would probably say, that's just because you haven't found something you love and something that really fulfills you. And I'm like, jobs aren't designed for you to love them. That's not the point. The point is just to give you income so you can participate in society. Like, and most people just don't want to accept that, and that's totally fine. Like, I know I'm gonna get some flack in the comments and some dislikes from people that don't want to accept that, and they want to love their job. And I'm not saying you can't. If you are one of the magical few that genuinely feels like your work is in 100% alignment with your life's purpose and your vision for your existence, freaking kudos. I just personally don't even want to accept that expectation because I think it's a losing game for me. I think if I'm just searching for anything that's going to give me everything, whether that's a person or a job, it's unrealistic.